and I are both members of the Independent Secretariat for talks between the Government of the Republic of the Philippines and the Revolutionaryong Partido ng Manggagawa ng Mindanao, or RPMM. Or actually, we call it the other peace process. So far, we have conducted 89 barangay peace consultations conducted in 5 provinces in 17 municipalities in Mindanao. It is spread in Zamboanga, Lanao, Maguindanao, and Sharif Cabunsuan, and Obusan. Empowered and sustainable communities are the real foundation of lasting peace. The process itself, and not the process end, will already allow these communities to win small victories and build peace by and for themselves. The final resolution is important, but communities need not wait for this. Building peace is here and now. Actually, along the course of the process, we realized that if these communities will be able to pursue their development agenda, because it is in these communities where we see and feel real situations of inequity, underdevelopment, and unpeace, then maybe in the long run, the signing of a peace agreement may be insignificant already. Why? Because people or communities are already able to address issues and problems which they identify as sources or as reasons for their unpeacefulness.
This is not a sprint. This is not a short distance. This is and requires a marathon mentality.
So the question is, ano ba ang prospect? I'm a person who is very optimistic. I say, kaya naman yan. Kaya. Oh. Kung hindi natin kaya ngayon, probably 20, 30, 100 years, makakaya din. Yes, ganyan. Because to me, I'm not working for myself, but I'm working for the Moro people.
You know, as Ben pointed by Sir Ed, that we have this marathon mentality. We like to talk. In fact, in the case of the MNLF, we talked for 20 years. From 1976 up to 1996, up to 20 years of talking, came up with the 1996 peace agreement. Okay? We talked from Tripoli to Jakarta. And recently, last month, we again would like to talk. From Jakarta, we moved to Jeddah, as Ben pointed a while ago, and we are now undergoing some sort of, again, informal exploratory tripartite meeting. So, look at the 1996 peace agreement. We believe that only 15% of that agreement is or can be implemented directly, and 85% cannot be implemented because you need some more for talking and negotiation to be undertaken in the future.
How come? That panel there is a threat, never changed. The only one they lost is Sumer, one of the funniest, most happy person in the panels we ever met. But except for the Sumer member of the panel, nothing has changed in the panel. What about in the Philippines? Oh well, you can ask the OPAC how many panel changes they have in terms of membership, of composition, of technical working group, and so forth and so on. I hope you understand the dilemma of testing. When the NDF insists on something we signed before, because they are still the same people, but the GRP panel does not even know what it is that we talked about in that time. What was the nuance of the language behind the signing of the career, the signing of the justice, and so forth and so on and so on?
I got the naive impression that does the government have institutional amnesia? Meaning it doesn't have an institutional memory of what it has done before and then what is happening now, as if, did we do anything at all? It's just a naive thought from a young guy. I hope you could clarify me on that.
Just on the matter of institutional memory. Okay. Well, personally, I don't have amnesia because I was there in 95, no? But when you talk about changes in panels, no, we've had 3 changes in the panel. And I really would like to acknowledge the capacity of government to really document the process. Way back in early 90s, there are documents on hand. And if you just want to read up on it, really, you can see the blow-by-blow account, what happened per minute. it's really a concern on the part of those who come on board at a certain stage of the process. How much do you want to learn in the process? But my sense is that really there's a great demand for someone who comes on board in the panel or in the committees to do his or her own share, to go back to the records so that you will know where you would begin. And I just want to assure you, we do that. And it's good to consult. And the other thing we do by way of mechanism is to go back to those who have been on board at the very beginning.
A sense of hope. Hope. The last thing one should surrender in countries like ours, in times like this, is a sense of hope. We must be able to craft this generation a conspiracy of hope.
If we compare this to the approximately 12,000 barangays in Mindanao, 89 barangays is just 0.001%. But still, we feel it is important because we feel it is one of our small gains and victories that some 89 barangays in Mindanao are struggling or are putting their stake in a peace process and not just wait for government to come in or not just wait for a final peace agreement.
And the negotiation is only a small part of that struggle. And peace agreements that we signed by any groups, are what we are referring to as building blocks. We build on them.
For us, we may be very, very romantic in terms of saying trust and confidence in this peace process is very integral in terms of pursuing this peace process. And it's not only among the panels, but also among the secretariat.
The peace songs and ticket were successful to some extent because of the support of the rebels and the military. It was not easy on the part of the rebels, it was not easy on the part of the military to support the peace songs. But we told them, you know what, we don't want to drive you away from these communities. We want to make us our partners in building this peace for our community.
After hearing all this talk about, climate change, conflict, peace, what comes out is the need for a spirituality of peace. So it goes beyond religion. It's a way of looking what is similar to all of us, animists, Muslims, Christians, non-denominational, people who call God by any other name. I think we have to unite that way. That's the only way that we can reconcile.
The long and the short view of the peace process that can be catalyzed and crystallized in a peace talk is peace is a war for the heart. I am emphasizing a war for the heart and the minds of the Filipino people. It is not a piece of paper that is signed between two warring parties with the perspective are really ready to die for what they believe in. The peace process that should be the center of the peace talk is a battle and a war that has to be won for the heart and the mind of the Filipino people. Which is why I'm here.
They are starting for in preparation for the final
Hand in hand with government public officials, dynamic